Good news, pro-life generation. We are in the majority. Hey, everyone. This is Kristan Hawkins. Welcome to this special How to Win This Debate episode of Explicitly Pro-Life podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about something that isn't really going to help you win the debate, except maybe the debate in your own mind as to why you should get involved in the pro-life movement. And that is, you don't have to be afraid that you're in the minority. We're actually in the majority. So every January, Students for Life's Dimitri Institute for Pro-Life Advancement conducts a poll of Gen Z and Gen Y voters, youth voters, the largest voting bloc in America today, the most liberal voting bloc in America today. Yes, we are those people that has been credited, sadly, to stopping what was predicted to be a red wave in November 2022. So the prevailing thought from the mainstream media and those who advocate for abortion is that this generation of young people is totally sold out when it comes to abortion. That is not true. We have nuanced views of abortion for sure, but the majority support limiting abortion and putting common sense limits on abortion. So today, I'm at our Institute for Pro-Life Advancement.org website, and I'm going to go through with you some of this brand new polling that was just released, because I do think it will help you hopefully win the argument with yourself and your friends as to why you should get involved. This poll was conducted in early January 2023 in a partnership with the Dimitri Institute for Pro-Life Advancement as well as YouGov, interviewing more than 1,200 registered voters who are Gen Z or Gen Y, my age or younger. Okay, so let's go through this. I've got divided them in a few sections. This generation rejects the Biden administration's extremism on chemical abortion pills, no test, online distribution of pills that we know lead to injury, infertility, and death, and are the drug of choice for abusers. 91%, you never see that in polls, okay? Because there's always 10%, 15% of people who want to be in disagreement with something. 91% support an ultrasound screening to be required for women facing ectopic or late-term pregnancies to know before she ingests those chemical abortion pills whether or not she's facing a life-threatening situation. 93% support mandated blood test screening before a woman takes chemical abortion pills that could potentially preserve her fertility if she's Rh negative. Right now, thanks to the radicalized FDA, Biden's FDA, these chemical abortion pills are being sold, shipped, without a woman ever seeing a doctor to confirm that she's not experiencing a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy, and without confirming through blood tests whether or not she's Rh negative. If she's Rh negative, her body could develop antibodies after the abortion, which will never allow her to carry another child to term again. 60% of Gen Z and Gen Y voters support requiring in-person care to prevent abusers from getting their grubby little hands on chemical abortion pills and using them against women's knowledge or consent. More than 9 out of 10 also supported the notion that our nation's water supply be assessed to ensure that chemical dumping of chemical abortion pills, their waste that they create, whether it's chemically tainted blood or tissue or human fetal remains, isn't making our drinking water unsafe. This has been a huge initiative of Students for Life for the past 2 years of really trying to seek environmental justice when it comes to these chemical abortion pills that already kill babies and harm women, but now we also have learned harm the environment. All right, nuanced abortion views. The generation that's most targeted to support and buy abortion is not completely sold out for abortion. Key findings. Majority of Gen Z and Gen Y voters wanted limited or no abortion. 65%. 1 in 4 said abortion should never be legal, with almost the same number saying it should always be legal, leaving the rest of everybody in the mushy middle. In 2023, more young people now believe abortion should not be legal. It was at 23%, almost 1 in 4, compared to when we did this last year at 9% in 2022. That's crazy improvement, and something that we would If you would ask the mainstream media where young people were, they would not guess this. Asked about whether laws should limit some types of abortion, 67% said yes, either in some or in all circumstances. Only 3 in 10 did not support laws limiting abortion. The key takeaway here is that this generation, despite being the most religiously diverse, economically diverse, more leftist than other generations in our country, does not fall lock in step with the Democratic Party's extremist position on abortion, that abortion should be taxpayer funded in all 9 months for whatever reason. That is huge. We also learned we can change minds about abortion. So there's a big phrase out there, codifying Roe. Nancy Pelosi and Democrats voted twice last year to pass a law saying we're going to codify Roe, meaning instead of having 7 men in the Supreme Court and their decision, we're going to pass a law demanding that abortion be legal in all 9 months of pregnancy for whatever reason, and actually going further than Roe versus Wade by forcing taxpayers to fund it. Generally, young people, when they hear codify Roe, they think it's a good thing. But we know from our campus conversations that once they're told what Roe versus Wade did and the extremism allowed, instantly you see a huge shift. So we actually proved this in the poll. Let me explain. So we asked, do you support codifying Roe? We didn't give any definition. We just asked with that phrase, okay? 52% of Gen Z, Gen Y voters strongly or somewhat supported codifying Roe. 26% were undecided. 22% opposed codifying Roe. So that was the pro-life vote. After we explained what codifying Roe was, now granted, this is not a poll full of lies. This was a poll conducted with YouGov. Every single statement that we said in this poll had to be fact-checked by this independent mainstream polling outlet. After we told them what Roe versus Wade did and what codifying Roe would do, there was a massive shift. Young voters changed their minds and the math flipped by 15 points, as only 37% supported codifying Roe after learning more, down from 52%. And those opposing codifying Roe rose from 22% to 47%, a 25-point shift. The undecided vote went from 26 to 16%. That's massive. And it shows everything. It shows everything at the same time. It shows exactly why we do what we do at Students for Life. It shows exactly why you do what you do on your campus. Because when people learn the truth about abortion, they don't like it. We also saw we asked about gestational limits. Would Gen Z and Gen Y voters support gestational limits on abortion? Saw that time and time again. Definitely the majority support gestational limits, whether it's a viability, whether a child can feel pain, or if it's a brainwave detected or a heartbeat detected. It's undeniable. One thing and there's even more, and it keeps going on. This poll was very extensive. One thing I found when I was kind of running through the crosstabs, and I thought was really interesting, that you're not going to hear this a lot. We often hear the claim that, in order to have pro-life legislation passed, in order to build consensus, we always have to include exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother into all of our legislation. First of all, I don't agree with the notion that life of the mother is an exception. We would all say there's not any pro-life law that's introduced out there that doesn't have some sort of provision where if a mother's experiencing a life-threatening situation where her child can be delivered and offered care with the knowledge that the child may die because medical technology isn't developed enough. Setting that aside, talking about the rape and incest exceptions, we are told all the time that you have to introduce legislation that has these exceptions. If not, you're not going to win broad support. Our, stance has been, well, no, we're not going to do that because your circumstance of your conception doesn't change your value. And by the way, those who advocate for abortion are going to hate you just as much, even if you include those exceptions. It's not actually going to stop anything. And we proved it in this poll. So in this poll, we asked Gen Z and Gen Y voters if they could support a candidate who advocated for a rape, incest, life of the mother exceptions only, but was for banning all, preventing all other types of abortions. 34% said yes. Okay. Re-asked the same question, but we said, now would you support a candidate who only supported one exception, and that is to preserve the life of the mother? 32% said yes. It was only a 2-point shift. So there you go. Don't let anyone tell you anymore that, in order to advance anything we want to do in the pro-life movement, we always have to give up and stop showing the humanity of a child who's been conceived via sexual assault. That's just not true. And we proved it with the most liberal voting bloc in America. So good news, pro-life Gen, you are firmly in the majority. Do not let anyone tell you differently.